Today, we're diving into the secrets of mastering memory, inspired by principles found in various memory training books. By the end of this video, you'll know how to recall complex information for exams, easily learn new vocabulary in any language, and never forget essential details like names, dates, and more. Consider this video your ultimate guide to boosting your memory power. The story of our guide, Alex, is particularly inspiring. As a child, Alex struggled with reading and writing, constantly distracted and unable to retain information. Teachers doubted whether he would even graduate. Fast forward to today, and Alex is known for his astonishing memory feats. For instance, he once memorized the sequence of 20 shuffled decks of cards, an achievement that took just a few hours of preparation. So, how did Alex transform from a struggling student into a memory maestro? The key was realizing that memory isn't some mystical gift, it's a skill. This means that if you've ever said, "I'm terrible with names," or "I can't remember anything," you've simply never learned the techniques to harness your memory. Forget the myth of a photographic memory. What truly matters is using the right strategies. The core idea behind improving memory is to animate the information you're trying to remember. Think about a time when you were reading something and reached the end of the page only to realize you couldn't recall any of it. This happens because you didn't engage with the material in a way that brought it to life in your mind. However, when you're deeply immersed in a story, visualizing every scene as though it's a movie, you effortlessly retain the details. That's the power of creativity and imagination at work. To remember anything from a textbook page, your grocery list, you need to bring it to life in your mind. Here's how you can do that. First, engage your senses. Think of all the sensory details related to the information. For example, if you want to remember banana, think about its bright yellow color, the soft texture, the sweet smell, and taste. Next, amplify the details. Imagine a banana the size of a car. Finally, add movement. Picture this giant banana rolling down a hill. The more exaggerated and dynamic your mental images, the more memorable they become. You can apply these principles to just about anything. Let's say you're learning a new language and want to remember the Spanish word gato, cat. You might think of a gigantic orange cat wearing a sombrero and playing the guitar. This vivid, animated image will stick in your memory much longer than simply repeating the word. Now, let's look at some practical methods that use these principles. Method 1. The magical mansion. Imagine you're walking through an ancient, enchanted mansion. As you enter, you notice that the doormat is a giant chocolate bar. As you step inside, the floor turns into a field of giant blueberries. In the living room, there's a chandelier made entirely of glowing lemons, while a dragon made of lettuce lounges on the couch. As you continue your tour, you see that the stairs are made of stacked sandwiches, and in the bathroom, the bathtub is overflowing with sparkling apple cider. Pause for a moment and think, can you recall the objects in each room? This method, known as the memory palace technique, helps organize information by associating with specific, familiar locations. The mansion is your memory palace, and the items are cues to trigger your recall. This technique works wonderfully for remembering lists, speeches, or even chapters of a book. You can replace the mansion with any location you know well, like your office or a favorite park. For example, let's say you need to remember a to-do list for the day, buy milk, schedule a meeting, pick up dry cleaning, and call the plumber. You could visualize yourself entering the mansion and stepping on a puddle of milk on the doormat. In the next room, there's a talking calendar reminding you of your meeting. In the hallway, there's a coat rack full of clean clothes, and finally, in the kitchen, a plumber is fixing a sink that's overflowing with wrenches. By associating each task with a vivid location, you'll find it much easier to recall what needs to be done. Method 2. Rhyming hoax. Rhyming is a powerful memory tool. Our brains naturally latch onto rhymes and rhythms, which is why we can easily recall catchy jingles or phrases. You can use this to your advantage by creating rhymes for information you need to remember. Let's say you're learning about the planets in our solar system and need to remember that Mars is the fourth planet. You might create a rhyme like, "For red cars drive far Mars is the fourth. It's not that hard." Or, if you need to remember a friend's phone number and it starts with 44, you could think double fours open the doors to call some more. This method is especially useful for memorizing numbers, sequences, or steps in a process. Another approach is to use shapes that resemble the numbers. For example, you could remember the number 8 by picturing a snowman, as the number 8 looks like a snowman's body. Method 3. Name that face. Remembering names can be challenging, but it becomes easier with the right technique. When you meet someone new, immediately look for something distinctive about their appearance. Let's say you meet a woman named Linda who has bright red hair. You could associate her name with a vivid image, like a lighthouse, because Linda sounds a bit like light with red beams shooting out of it. The next time you see her, recall the lighthouse with red light, and her name will come back to you. For trickier names, use a similar approach. If you meet someone named Bartholomew, picture a bar where the bartender is a giant thumb Bartholomew. The more playful and outlandish your image, the better. Repeating the person's name a few times during your conversation also helps solidify it in your memory. For instance, say, "It's nice to meet you, Linda," and then, "Linda, what do you do for work?" By the end of the conversation, you'll have reinforced the connection between the name and the person's face. Method 4. Visualize your facts. Turning facts into images can make them much easier to remember. Suppose you need to remember that in 2023, the first human mission to Mars was launched. You could visualize the number 2023 as a pair of space boots, since 23 resembles the boots, and imagine those boots stepping onto Mars for the first time. If you're studying history and need to memorize that the Battle of Waterloo took place in 1815, you could picture 18 knights and 15 dragons in a fierce battle. The more imaginative and vivid your images, the more likely you are to remember the details. Before bed, review the images you've created throughout the day. This simple act of revisiting them will help reinforce the information in your memory. Testing yourself periodically also ensures that you retain what you've learned, turning the process of memorization into an engaging and rewarding experience. By using these methods, you'll not only enhance your memory, but also discover the joy of learning. With practice, you'll find that remembering even the most complex information becomes second nature. If you want to explore more techniques and deepen your understanding, there are plenty of great resources out there to guide you on your journey to a sharper memory.
If you enjoy this video, please like it and drop a comment. Also subscribe to my channel for more life coaching contents and hit the bell icon for notifications whenever I post a new video.